Welcome to Pittman's Breakdown, our fourth episode that we've done. We're going to talk, we had question and answers last time. We're going to do some more college football, NFL football for y'all today, as well as a new topic. Pryce Wade, Twitter in the bio, want us to do winners and losers for the week, so we're going to do some of that as well. Holden, you want to introduce our guest?
This is our special guest, John Hill-Wheelis.
NFL expert.
NFL expert. Won fantasy football last year in his league by a hefty margin.
Hefty margin, that is correct.
Wow.
Yes.
So he's our special guest tonight, talking about a little bit of football tonight.
That is correct. Happy to be here. Happy to be here.
Yeah.
All right. Holden, you want to hit us with your third winner? Start with winners, then we'll go to losers.
All right, my third winner of the week is Alex Smith beating the Patriots. 4 TDs. Beat the defending champs. That's about it. What about yours right there?
My third winner is the whole AFC South. Brian Cushing got suspended for 10 games today, which is the Texans' starting middle linebacker. So my winners are the Jags, Titans, and Colts, because that is big for all three of those teams.
But performance-enhancing drugs are cool.
Yeah,
so.
He is really jacked, so he's a winner too. Cushing's my fourth winner.
My second winner would be LSU fan knocks out Pledge with a broken arm, with a cast on that arm. Check out that video. It's kind of insane. One punch knockout for the guy.
He also is currently being hunted by the cops, so that's pretty cool. To be on Instagram and to be chased by the cops is kind of cool.
And if you see him, help him out. Do not turn him in.
Yeah, don't
take
turn
him
him
in. Give him free food.
Yeah, definitely don't turn him in. Second winner for me is the guy who runs Ted Cruz's Twitter account. That's a pretty baller move on his part, and he won't get in trouble, so that's kind of cool too.
Explain to the fans what really happened.
So Ted Cruz got happy with the like button and accidentally liked some inappropriate Twitter content late at night. So it was either Ted Cruz having a great time or whoever runs his Twitter just really messing with some things, and I'm all about it.
My number one winner of the week is definitely the Titans fan who kissed 4 different girls on a kiss cam.
Stud.
Wow.
4 different girls, 1 shot. That's
baller.
impressive.
What a baller. My number one winner is Will Greer, quarterback for the West Virginia Mountaineers. Not for his football ability, which is pretty good, but for his wife, who is Brent Musburger commenting worthy. Saw her in the very first game of the college football year. Absolute dime piece. Hope to see some more West Virginia games this year later on down the road.
All right, my third loser of the week is Baker Mayfield apologizing for planting the flag on Ohio State's field. He would have been one of my winners if he didn't apologize tonight, but he apologized, so had to take him off.
Agreed. My third loser is Hillary Clinton writing a book titled What Happened about the election. What happened is you lost. So, next loser.
My next loser is Roger Goodell at Gillette Stadium with the new movie It coming out. They decided to put Roger Goodell clown face on a towel as a terrible towel and wave it around Gillette Stadium, which is pretty awesome for the fans because no NFL fan likes Roger Goodell. So
shout out to Barstool Sports for providing the towels and us with these bar stools for our YouTube channel. My second loser is Sergio Dip, sideline reporter for the Monday Night Football game. Sideline reporter for the Monday Night Football game. If you haven't seen the video, please Google it. It is priceless.
My number one overall loser is the steeplechase, J.K. Scott. That's all I gotta say about that one. Yeah, how about you right there?
Move on from that.
My number one loser is not just for the week. It's for the last 6 months. Really, is ESPN as an organization in general. They are my biggest loser for the week for numerous reasons.
And Clay Travis has not let up on them.
No, I love Clay Travis.
I'll kick the coverage.
So a couple more topics I want to talk about before we jump into the NFL. As we talk about where the Florida UT game will be played, and it will be played in Gainesville this year as scheduled. So that'll be played in Gainesville on Saturday at 2:30 as scheduled. So no rain out there because of the hurricanes. And the last thing was for not this upcoming weekend, but the next upcoming weekend, the SEC game of the week is Alabama at Vandy. Which is just crazy in my mind. I think that shows the bias that CBS and the SEC has for Alabama. But if Vandy, we'll talk about them later on, but if Vandy wins this weekend, they will be in the top 25 for the first time since 2013. So if they do win this weekend, it will be the best SEC game of the weekend. But if they don't win, you've got other games. You've got Florida at Kentucky, Mississippi State at Georgia, and Auburn at Missouri the same weekend as CBS has already decided to make Alabama at Vandy the SEC game of the week.
That can't be the best one.
That can't be the
That
best
just
game.
can't.
That can't. I love the Doors, but that just can't be the best game we're watching. That can't.
Ready for the expert to break it down this week. He told me earlier that he was planning to go 4-0 in his predictions. Let's start off right here.
Easily.
What's your prediction for the Titans-Jaguars game? And what do you
Titans,
think?
Jags, last week, tough start off to our season, man. Titans, just wasn't how we wanted to begin the season. But we're going to Jacksonville, They just lost their star receiver, Allen Robinson. He's out for the entire year. Blake Bortles is absolutely
Trash.
awful.
Trash.
So I see a huge win for Titans and for Nissan Stadium.
We got a score?
Final score 49-14.
Love it.
Blowout.
Titans
Absolutely.
over Jags.
Love it. Love it. I agree. I'm taking Titans over Jags as well. I'm expecting big run game. Our quarterback and both our running backs had like 16 carries combined. And that's just not the ground and pound we came to love last year. With the big boys up front, shout out to the Ensworth Fat Boys. The big boys up front leading the charge, and DeMarco Murray and Derrick Henry and Mariota being able to run the ball. I look for a lot of running from Terry Robisky in that game. I've got Titans as well. I've got it a little lower. I've got 24-14 Titans over the Jags.
Yeah, y'all pretty much summed it up, but my score prediction is Titans winning this ball game 31-17.
Like it, high scoring.
Do have to talk about for a second the Jaguars defense. Balled out last week. They did play against Tom Savage for the first half of the game versus the Texans, but still, Calais Campbell, their big summer free agents, had 4 sacks in one game. Jaguars record, so their defense will be no joke. The Titans' offense will have to come to play to get a win, but I expect them to.
The only scary part about this game right here is Leonard Fournette. If he gets through our front 7, those DBs will be run over every single time, like he did versus Houston.
Last week, 26 carries. Just a workhorse. Absolute tank.
Absolute workhorse.
Yeah.
You got it.
All right, second game of the week we're going to talk to you about is Minnesota Vikings at the Pittsburgh Steelers noon on Sunday. What do you got for me, John?
Now, Le'Veon Bell did not throw me a bone last week on my fantasy team, but this week I got a huge week coming from him. I got Steelers big in this one. I know the Vikings had, a huge week last week, but I still got Steelers 24-7 in this one.
Wow. I'm taking Steelers as well. The Vikings did big win last week, but Sam Bradford played to a level I've never seen Sam Bradford play in the NFL. Played like that in college, has never played that in the NFL. I don't expect him to do that again. Le'Veon Bell and the Pittsburgh offense, I think, will dominate at home. I've got 27-21 Steelers over the Vikings.
I'm going to have to go against y'all right here. I got the Vikings winning this ball game. Because of Sam Bradford, I think he's going to ride that high from last week and take the momentum into this week. I said they win 21-14 Vikings.
All right, like that. Game 3, Dallas Cowboys at Denver Broncos, 3:30 on Sunday. What do we got for that one?
For that one, a bit of an upset here, actually. I'm going to take the Broncos in their own stadium, and I will tell you why. Mile High City, a lot for the Cowboys to handle. Dak Prescott, he's a beast, but I see him going down this week. I got the Broncos 24-14.
All right, I'm going Cowboys over Broncos. Not a big Cowboys fan, but I have to go Cowboys because Ezekiel Elliott got suspended for 6 games, then basically gave Roger Goodell the finger and came back and decided to play anyway in those 6 games. So I've got to go with Zeke and the Dallas Cowboys. I'm saying 17-14 Cowboys over Broncos.
Close one.
I also have the Cowboys winning this game with those 2 players in the backfield, Dak Prescott and Ezekiel Elliott. I don't see how they can be beat by the Broncos. I say this game's going to be a low-scoring game, 14-3.
And our 4th and final NFL game, 7:30 Packers at Falcons in the new Mercedes-Benz Dome. First home opener. There's been some college games played in it. This is the first NFL game, regular season NFL game for the Falcons at home.
Should be a shootout. 2 high-power offenses. Rodgers versus Matty Ice. I'm going to stick by my boy Aaron. I got the Packers and a huge scoring, lots of offense in this one. I'm going to go Packers 42-35.
I've got same high score. I've got Falcons over the Packers. I think they defend home turf. They're going to have a lot of energy. I think the crowd's going to be in it.
For sure.
I think the Falcons also have a lot to prove after that drastic Super Bowl performance they had last year. I think they've got a lot to prove this year, and I think they will. I've got Falcons over Packers 35-28.
I'm going to have to agree with John Hill on this one. I say the Packers are going to win this game because of what you mentioned earlier. I don't think the Falcons are going to recover from that loss. I think that's just it's going to be in their heads, so they're not going to do too well. I say the Packers win this ball game 31-10.
Wow.
That's blowout.
No love for the Falcons from Holden here. So those are the 4 NFL games that we felt like we should talk about. You can comment or tweet us any other games you think that we missed or you would like us to hit on. But we're going to move to college football now. We've got 4 college football games as well. And our first one is our first game that we're going to talk about is the hardest game for both these teams of the year. LSU at Mississippi State, 6 o'clock on Saturday night. Holden, what do you got?
Well, I think that LSU is going to expand the playbook a little bit more this week, and
I think they're going to have to expand the playbook.
yeah. But then again, I think they're just going to rely on Darius Geis and Darrell Williams to just run the ball. I mean, both had 2 touchdowns last week. I think that's what it's going to end up being. I say LSU wins this game 31-20.
I agree with the LSU victory. I do think Mississippi State, though, they've got Nick Fitzgerald. I think he's unproven, but he does win games. He was their starting quarterback last year, so he has a year of experience under his belt. He is mobile. LSU hasn't played a mobile quarterback yet this year, and they usually have problems with it, just like Alabama last year with Jalen Hurts was able to come in and run the ball from the quarterback spot. So that's something they're going to have to watch out for in Nick Fitzgerald. Also, the Mississippi State defense is not a joke either. They have played Charleston Southern and Louisiana Tech. Louisiana Tech, decent football program, but their defense has only given up 17 points in 2 games.
Yep.
It could be
Not
10.
many.
It could
Not
be 10
many.
points. Not many points. So their defense, I think, is the real deal. I've got LSU winning this game as well. One thing, though, is to watch the LSU kicking game. They had 2 different guys kick field goals last week and still missed 2 field goals. Their starting kicker couldn't get the ball in the end zone off the kickoff, so they had to bring in a backup to do it. So the LSU kicking game is in limbo right now. So if it's a close SEC battle, that could be a determining factor in the game.
Let's talk about the Mississippi State kicker real quick.
Mississippi State kicker is my girlfriend's brother, Tucker Day. He's a freshman. He played in the Army All-American game last year, so a very talented kicker. Watch out for him. Shout out to 42.
John Hill, what do you think about this game?
Just wanted to give a quick shout out Blake Mitchell.
Oh, yes. Let the dog
Mississippi
go to
State.
Blake Mitchell's Twitter account, retweet, gives $1 to save the dog. I love Pretty Boy Swag.
For sure. But I think Darius Guy's the best running back in the country.
Absolutely.
I think he's better than Saquon Barkley from Penn State. So I'm going to take LSU in this one.
Nice. John Hill, I'm going to come back to you again. UT Florida at Gainesville.
Yeah, Florida, a tough loss at the beginning of the season against Michigan. They really got whooped.
They did.
To be completely honest. But I think they go into their hometown. Take this one from you, Tate.
I agree. I'm going Florida over the Vols as well, but I think it's going to be close. I think it's going to be a battle. Florida also did not play a game last week because their game was supposed to be at home and got rained out because of the hurricane. So they didn't play a game. So that could be a pro or a con. They got an extra week to prepare for UT. But they don't have that extra week of game reps that is so vital at this point in the season. However, UT played Indiana State, so they didn't really play a game either. But I've got Florida beating the Vols.
I have Tennessee winning this game.
Wow.
I don't think it's going to be very close. Actually, I'm not changing my mind. I think it's going to be a pretty close game. But I think Tennessee's going to come off of beating Florida like they did last year, ending that streak that they had and start their streak of their own. But after this game for Tennessee, I don't see too many wins for them.
No.
I see Butch Jones getting fired by the end of the year.
Wow, I agree. I think Butch is gone. I think another thing we need to highlight about this game is the quarterback play. Florida started their freshman last week, but then ended up bringing Malik Zaire, the quarterback transfer from Notre Dame. And UT will start the junior this week like they have the last 2 weeks, but they have also brought in their freshman, the last two games. And you see with two quarterbacks being played by both teams, how the quarterbacks work, if they're allowed to get into a groove or not. And so it's really going to be, I think, what defense is able to stop the other will win this game.
I could get in trouble for saying this, but last week I did go to the UT game, and I heard Butch Jones say this at the end of the game versus Indiana State, is that they need to be happy for each other. There doesn't need to be any division between their players. I think he was talking about the two quarterbacks for UT, who, if you watch the Georgia Tech game, each
There was some
quarterback,
hostility.
yeah, some hostility.
There's some hostility for sure.
I think he was talking about that.
So they are champions of life, so we'll see what happens to the UT Vols this weekend. Our third game is Clemson at Louisville.
College
7
game
o'clock.
day.
College game day, 7 o'clock Saturday. We have second week talking about Clemson. This is number 14 Louisville playing at home versus number 3 Clemson. Hold on, we go.
I think. See, I'm gonna have to go with Louisville on this one.
Wow.
Even though it's versus Clemson, I just don't think Kelly Bryant has proved too much. I don't think Auburn's as much as has been hyped up to be. I don't think they're as good as they
I
are.
agree.
So I think Kelly Bryant is not as good as we think yet. And going up against the Lamar Jackson, a Heisman Trophy winner from last year, I think that he's going to have a game. And like Dabo Sweeney said, they put up video game numbers, over 600 yards a game averaging right now. So that's pretty impressive. I say Louisville wins this game at home.
I'm going to go opposite of Holden. I'm going Clemson over Louisville. I think last week Clemson had 11 sacks, and I think part of that is due to the fact that Auburn offensive line is trash right now at this point in the season. But you don't get 11 sacks by being a mediocre defense, so I expect that defense to pin their ears back. And they know that quarterback for Louisville is getting the ball. They can expect Lamar Jackson to handle most, whether he's running or whether he's passing, he's getting the ball. So they can pin their ears back and really get after him. And I think that Clemson defense is going to be able to not shut down by any means, but contain Lamar Jackson to where they can win the game. And Kelly Bryant's going to have to be able to throw the ball. He could beat Auburn. He beat Auburn with his legs. If they're going to win this game, he's going to have to be able to throw it. But I've got Clemson upsetting Louisville at home.
John Hill?
Quick shout out Rodney Owens. Really wish you were suiting up. But, Clemson's D is for real. They are a for real defense. But I do like Louisville at home. I like Lamar Jackson. I have him repeat Heisman Trophy.
Wow. Very possible.
So
Very possible.
I like Louisville at home.
Our last college football game is Kansas State coming to Nashville, playing the Doors. It's 6:30 Saturday night. Now, usually this game might not be one we talk about, but Vandy last week received 5 top 25 votes. And for anyone that has any idea about Vanderbilt football, that's just like the craziest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Absurd.
Absolutely absurd. In 2013, they actually finished the season 24th overall, but that was when James Franklin was here, and we see what he's doing at Penn State now. They finished 24th. That's the last time they were ranked. In 2012, they actually finished 23rd, so that's the highest they've finished in a while. But if they beat Kansas State, who's number 18 in the country, they will jump into the top 25, which paints a SEC powerhouse matchup for the next week. Alabama rolls into town. So I've got Vandy beating Kansas State, even though it will be a Kansas State heavy crowd. Manhattan, Kansas will travel and probably outweigh the Doors fans just because that's how it happens at Vandy. But Kyle Shermer has looked like one of the better quarterbacks in college, not just SEC, but college football the last couple of weeks. And that's something Vandy hasn't had since Jay Cutler was there. They haven't had a half-decent quarterback. They've got Ralph Webb. They've got a good defense. If Kyle Shermer can come to play like he has the last 2 weeks, don't be surprised if Vandy wins this football game.
Yeah, for sure. I concur. Here's a quick hot take. Could turn into a cold take. But I like Vandy big in this game.
Wow.
At home.
Love it.
I don't think K-State has proven anything. Don't believe they exactly deserve their ranking. I like Vandy big in this one.
I think this game is going to rely on Vanderbilt's defense. I also have Vandy winning this ball game. I believe go Doors, anchor down. Shout out to Bruce Cox. I believe Derek Mason's going to get their defense hyped up before this game. Great defensive coordinator. Even though they haven't done too well in the past years, their defense has always been good. They've always been good since he's been there. And I think it's going to do the same thing this week. I think they're going to beat Kansas State. in a close game, probably around 20-10.
And Vandy's already 2-0 this year, which means they only need 4 more wins to be bowl eligible, to make a bowl game for the second year in a row.
Wow.
So the season's looking up for the doors.
Wow.
They're tied for first in the SEC East. I just want that to sink in for a second. Vandy is tied for first place in the SEC East, which is just wild, absolutely wild.
Shock the world.
They're going to shock the world this year. That's all we've got for this week for Pittman's Breakdown. Anything that we missed or want to talk about, comment, like, subscribe to our channel, follow us on Twitter. The link will be in the bio. Appreciate y'all tuning in.
Shout out to John Hill real quick.
First special guest of the year. We will have more guests as we go. Bring John Hill back later on in the year. But shout out to our very first guest, John Hill.
His Twitter will be in the bio.
Absolutely will be in the bio.
So give him a follow.
Appreciate it.
Great Twitter
Appreciate it,
account.
man. Appreciate it.
So that's all we got for this video. See y'all.
Boom.